The morning light broke over the wildlands, painting the massive trees and flowing rivers in gold and silver. Mist curled around the trunks like soft ribbons, and distant mountains glimmered with a faint shimmer. Humans moved carefully, but confidently, led by Kale. The observer followed from above, his curiosity growing with every step, every movement, every action. The alien whispered, "They are not afraid, yet they expect nothing less than respect." "How?" Kale paused at the edge of a wide river. The water rushed fast, crashing over rocks and forming deep pools. Across the river, he could see a herd of creatures grazing beasts taller than any human, with long necks and armored backs. Their horns spiraled toward the sky, and their eyes glowed faintly in the sunlight. "Stay calm," Kale said to his team. "Give them space." "Observe them," Leora nodded, her hand resting gently on the back of a smaller creature following them. "They will listen if we show trust," she said quietly. The humans moved slowly along the riverbank. The creatures noticed, but instead of running, they continued grazing. One of the largest, a towering beast with silver scales, lifted its head and studied Kale. He stopped, spread his arms slightly, and met its gaze. The creature tilted its head, then lowered it slightly, a gesture of acknowledgement. The observer's sensors were overwhelmed. "They are not taming. They are communicating," he exclaimed. He had observed countless species on many worlds, yet none had earned respect this way. Humans did not demand obedience. They inspired it. As the humans crossed the river on large stepping stones, the ground trembled nearby. Trees shook as a massive predator emerged from the forest. Its claws were enormous, and its eyes burned like molten gold. Birds scattered in the air, and even some of the grazing beasts froze. The team formed a loose circle, giving space to the predator. Kale stepped forward, hands raised but relaxed. His voice was calm, steady, carrying across the clearing. The beast growled, a sound like rolling boulders, and advanced. It was large enough to crush a tree in one step, yet Kale remained calm. Slowly, he crouched slightly, keeping his eyes on the creature. Moving deliberately to show he was not a threat, the creature stopped, sniffing the air. Its head moved slightly, eyes locked on Kale. Then, in a moment that stunned the observer, it lowered its massive head, bowing slightly. Kale nodded in return, and the team took a careful step forward. The predator did not attack. It watched, alert but obedient. They obey," the alien whispered, barely believing his sensors. "Without weapons, without cages. They are leaders." Kale signaled the team to move ahead deeper into the forest. The wildlands grew denser, the trees higher, and the air thicker with mist. Strange sounds echoed, the calls of creatures with wings as wide as buildings, the rumble of beasts moving far away, and the gentle splash of rivers unseen. Suddenly, a smaller creature darted across their path. Its legs were long, its tail like a whip. It stopped, looking at them with curious eyes. Leora knelt, offering her hand. The creature sniffed, then nudged her gently before scampering into the forest. "See?" Leora said, smiling. "They know we mean no harm." Kale nodded. "Trust earns respect. Fear earns nothing." As they moved through a narrow valley, the ground trembled again, more violently this time. From the shadows of the cliffs, a massive six-legged beast emerged, taller than any building the humans had seen. Its armor-like scales reflected the sunlight, and its glowing eyes scanned the valley. Other creatures scattered in fear, the humans stood their ground. Kale raised his voice, calling softly to the beast, speaking in a rhythm that seemed almost musical. The beast paused, head swaying slightly, ears twitching. Slowly, it lowered its head. Kneeling slightly, a gesture that the humans had learned was a sign of acknowledgement. The observer's mind raced. They are not taming. They are teaching, or perhaps the creatures are choosing to follow them. The humans continued through the valley, careful not to startle any more creatures. Every step was measured, every gesture intentional. They moved like dancers, in harmony with the beasts, reading their behavior, respecting their space. Night approached, and the team set up camp on a plateau overlooking the valley. Fires were lit, small and controlled, and the beasts lingered nearby, some lying down at a safe distance, others watching. The humans ate, shared stories quietly, and tended their animals. The forest was alive with soft sounds, the chirps of insects, the rustle of leaves, and the low, rumbling breaths of nearby beasts. The alien hovered closer, studying them. Never have I seen such control, such influence. Without force, humans. They are extraordinary. He observed how they cared for injured creatures, how they spoke gently to frightened animals, and how they maintained order without fear. As the twin moons rose, a shadow darker than the night appeared in the distance. It moved silently, massive, powerful, unlike any creature the humans had yet faced. Even the previously calm beasts stepped back, sensing the presence. Kale stood, scanning the shadow. "Stay close," he instructed. "We will meet it together." The alien felt a shiver through his circuits. He had expected humans to falter when faced with real danger. Yet here they stood, calm, confident, united. Even the beasts seemed to understand that the humans were leaders, not prey. The shadow moved closer, revealing itself a legendary creature from the old stories. Larger than mountains, its eyes glowing like fire, its roar echoing across the wildlands. Birds and smaller beasts scattered, yet the humans did not move back. Kale stepped forward, hands raised, voice steady and calm. "We come in peace," he said. "We respect you." The massive creature paused, its head swaying, nostrils flaring as it studied the humans. Slowly, carefully, it lowered its head. Not out of fear, not out of exhaustion, but out of recognition. Recognition of strength, intelligence, and respect. The humans had earned it, not by domination, but by understanding. The observer's systems recorded everything. He was stunned. They are. Unlike anything I have seen, the beasts, they do not follow out of fear. They follow out of choice. Humans, they inspire loyalty. The humans continued their journey through the wildlands. Every step, every encounter, built trust between them and the beasts. Rivers were crossed with the help of enormous creatures. Cliffs scaled with the assistance of long-necked beasts, and hidden dangers avoided through silent communication. By the time dawn broke, the team had reached a massive valley surrounded by mountains. The beasts that had followed them from the forests now rested nearby, calm and watchful. Humans moved among them freely, treating them with care and respect. Kale looked at Leora. "We are ready," he said softly. "The wild lands are ours to explore, but not to conquer. Respect is our guide." The observer hovered above, recording every moment, knowing that what he had witnessed would change his understanding of life, intelligence, and leadership. Humans were not just survivors. They were masters of trust, empathy, and courage. The wildlands could throw anything at them, and they would not falter. A distant roar echoed from the mountains, a challenge waiting for the humans. But they did not flinch. They would face it, together with the beasts by their side. And the alien, watching in awe, knew one thing for certain: he had underestimated humans. They were not taming the wild. The wild was willingly following them. The alien observer had traveled across countless worlds, seen many species, and studied intelligence in forms beyond imagination. He had never encountered a species like humans. On this world, the humans had ventured into the untamed wildlands, a vast stretch of forests, rivers, and mountains where creatures of enormous size roamed freely. From his vantage point, in a hovering observation craft, he watched the humans prepare. They wore simple but durable gear, carrying only what was necessary: food, water, and tools. There were no weapons meant to harm, no guns, no spears, no cages. It puzzled him. How could they survive among the wildest, largest, most dangerous creatures without proper control or defense? The humans stepped off their transport carefully, scanning their surroundings with alert eyes. Birds with wings as wide as trees took flight with a sharp cry. A massive shadow moved in the distance, something with 4 legs, taller than a 2-story building, its scales glinting in the sunlight. The observer's sensors labeled it as a predator, yet the humans did not flinch. Why are they not preparing to attack? The observer murmured to himself. They cannot dominate these beasts. Or can they? A young human named Kale led the small team. He moved with quiet confidence, each step measured. Behind him, his companions followed, some younger, but all shared the same calm aura. Kale reached a clearing where a creature rested. Its fur was long, striped with gold and black, and its eyes glowed like amber lamps. Kale knelt, spreading his hands in an open gesture. The beast stirred, sniffed the air, and then watched him. Kale did not run, did not threaten. He spoke softly, words gentle but firm. The beast tilted its massive head, sniffed closer, and then, to the observer's astonishment, it lay down again, completely calm. The alien's sensors could not comprehend what he was seeing. This is impossible, he muttered. No species survives here without weapons or cages. Yet they are commanding respect. But how? Kale stood and gestured for the team to move forward. Each human approached another creature cautiously, repeating the same calm movements, the same soft words. Some of the creatures were enormous. Some had scales harder than metal. Some had claws that could crush stone. Yet none attacked. All observed. All listened. A huge creature with horns curved like moons came near. It was known in legends as the Horned Titan. Other species fled at its presence. Yet the humans did not. They spread out evenly, creating space for the beast to feel unthreatened. One human, a young woman named Leora, extended a hand, her eyes steady. The Titan sniffed, lowered its massive head, and then nudged her gently. The observer's jaw could have dropped if he had one. It bows to them, he whispered. The humans were not taming by force. They were earning obedience by trust, respect, and confidence. He had never seen anything like it. The team continued deeper into the wildlands. Rivers wide as valleys flowed with water that glimmered under the twin suns. Enormous trees towered above, their branches like bridges across the sky. Strange flying creatures glided through the mist, their wings shining. The humans moved carefully, reading the land as if it spoke to them. The observer scanned them. Every movement was deliberate. Every glance communicated with unseen creatures. Kale stopped near a riverbank. "We need water," he said calmly. He gestured to one of the beasts, a large, elephant-like creature covered in blue-gray scales. "Friend," he said, his voice soft, "can we share your river?" The creature stepped aside, allowing the humans to fill their containers. It did not drink while they drank. It waited. And then it stepped back, its massive eyes watching. The observer's databanks buzzed with confusion. They are not taming. They are understanding. He paused, realizing this human ability to communicate through patience and gestures was something he had never observed. They do not conquer. They guide. They lead by example, not force. Incredible. Suddenly, a distant roar echoed across the wildlands. The ground trembled slightly. Trees swayed. The humans stiffened, but they did not panic. Kale signaled the team to move toward a rocky rise. From there, they could observe without being noticed. A massive predator emerged, beast with 6 legs. Horns and eyes like molten lava. It stalked the land with a predatory grace. Other species scattered. The humans held their ground. Kale stepped forward alone. He raised his hand in an open gesture and spoke softly. The creature froze. Its eyes studied Kale. Then slowly, it bowed its head. The humans' presence, their confidence and calmness, had commanded respect. The alien observer could not understand. "Why do they not fear?" he muttered. "Why do they not attack? Yet the beasts obey." The humans set up camp as night approached. The wildlands glowed under the twin moons, and strange, luminous insects flew around. Some beasts lingered near the camp, keeping watch, but never threatening. Humans tended fires, shared food, and even allowed some of the smaller creatures to approach. They spoke quietly, laughed softly, and showed care for one another. The observer hovered closer. It is extraordinary. Their strength is not physical. It is will intellect, and spirit. These humans are not just survivors, they're leaders of the wild. Night deepened. Stars glittered across the sky. The humans slept near the fires while the beasts remained calm. One massive, dragon-like creature curled around the perimeter, as if guarding them. The observer analyzed every detail. Never had he witnessed such harmony. Never had he seen humans command respect from beings so powerful without a fight. Before dawn, Kale awoke and surveyed the camp. He spoke softly to Leora. "They trust us, because we trust them first." His words were simple, but they carried deep wisdom. The alien watched, silently taking notes, realizing that human strength lay not in weapons, not in cages, not in domination, but in understanding, empathy, and courage. As the first light of the suns broke over the horizon, a new challenge emerged in the distance, a shadow larger than any other creature they had faced. The humans did not hesitate. They packed their gear, checked their animals, and prepared to continue. The observer's eyes widened. He had underestimated them. He had assumed humans could only struggle in the wild. But now he knew these humans were not taming beasts. The beasts were willingly bowing to them, recognizing humans as something greater than simple prey. And in that moment, the observer understood that this journey was only beginning. The wildlands were full of mysteries, challenges, and creatures of unimaginable power. But humans, with their courage, patience, and intelligence, would not only survive, they would command respect wherever they went. The wildlands waited, massive and unpredictable, but the humans moved forward without fear. And somewhere deep inside, the alien realized that the human story one of harmony, bravery, and mastery was about to change everything he had ever believed about intelligence, strength, and leadership. The galactic field had never been so tense. Every species, every fleet, every council whispered about humanity. They were no longer the amusing newcomers. Humans were clever, unpredictable, and remarkably effective. Alien powers that had ruled the field for centuries felt unease they could not ignore. The final challenge of the field was announced, a combination of strategy, exploration, and diplomacy. Teams would need to navigate dangerous star systems, negotiate with multiple species, and secure rare resources from unstable planets. This was not a test of raw power alone, demanded intelligence, courage, teamwork, and moral judgment. Humanity prepared methodically. Captain Elias Marlowe gathered his crew on the bridge of the horizon, their faces calm but determined. "This is the greatest challenge yet," Elias said. "We are not competing to defeat others by force. We are competing to show what humans can do. Think creatively, act courageously, and remain united. That is our advantage. We will face danger, yes, but we will also show that intelligence and cooperation can overcome any obstacle." Lieutenant Sarah Patel added, "We will inspire, not intimidate. That is what sets us apart. Other species may rely on aggression or cunning, but we will rely on skill, ethics, and teamwork." The race began in a burst of light, fleets surging forward like ribbons of fire. Aliens tried to outmaneuver one another, using long-prepared strategies and powerful ships. Humans, modest in appearance, moved with calm precision. They observed patterns, anticipated shifts, and adapted instantly. The first stage required navigating the maze of shadows, a dense asteroid field with unstable gravities. Alien fleets relied on computational calculations, predicting movements with exact formulas. But even the most precise predictions failed when the field shifted unpredictably. Many alien ships collided, others veered off course, and some were trapped for hours. Humans, however, moved differently. Elias had studied the asteroids and recognized patterns the others overlooked. He instructed the crew to move with subtle adjustments to sense the shifts and respond intuitively. The small human ships glided through the field, nimble and precise, reaching the exit before almost anyone else. Observers were shocked. "They are reading the field differently," whispered a Thrin captain. "No calculations, just intuition. How is it possible?" The second stage was diplomatic. Teams had to negotiate with the native Zyran species of a resource-rich planet. Aliens tried to dominate, offering threats, trade incentives, or complex schemes. Many failed, angering the Zyrans and delaying progress. Humans approached the planet with respect and curiosity. Zyra led the negotiations, speaking simply and clearly, listening carefully, and showing genuine understanding. Instead of trying to manipulate, humans collaborated. They offered assistance with infrastructure, shared knowledge, showed honesty in their intentions. The Zyrans, impressed by this approach, provided humans with direct access to the resources. Other fleets looked on in disbelief. Where force and cunning failed, humans' integrity and intelligence succeeded. By the third stage, tensions in the field had reached a peak. Alien factions began to realize that humans were not only excelling, they were redefining what success in the field could be. Some fleets tried to block them, some attempted traps, and others attempted alliances. Yet humans remained focused. They adapted, outsmarted, and persevered. During a critical moment, humans faced the stormed planet of Kellyan Prime, whose unstable atmosphere made landing nearly impossible. The strongest alien fleets relied on powerful shields and engines, many of which failed under extreme conditions. Ships were thrown off course, some destroyed by gravity spikes, others trapped in electrical storms. Elias and Sarah remained calm. "The storm can be our ally," Sarah said. "We do not need to fight it. We need to move with it." Using the storm's energy and careful timing, humans navigated the planet's hazards. Small but agile, their ships avoided dangers that larger, stronger ships could not. They retrieved the required resources and returned safely. While many alien competitors were still struggling to escape, by now, humans were leading the final challenge by a wide margin. Alien spectators, once confident, now watched in awe and fear. The galaxy's cheers for traditional champions had faded. Humanity's creativity, ethics, and courage had captured attention everywhere. The final test required strategic coordination with other fleets while maintaining independence. Many species tried to coerce humans into alliances, thinking it would slow their progress. Humans responded with clarity. They would work with anyone, but only fairly. Without deception or compromise of values, through clever collaboration, the humans created a network of support that did not rely on coercion or trickery. Other fleets were forced to acknowledge humanity's growing influence. Alliances formed not out of fear or domination, but out of respect and trust, as the last stage unfolded. Humans faced the reigning champions of the field, the combined fleets of Vorins, Thrins, and Kylari. The challenge was a multi-layered problem, combining navigation, negotiation, and resource management. Alien champions relied on complex algorithms, communication protocols, and aggressive maneuvers. Humans did not compete with aggression. They combined their knowledge, intuition, and ethical decision-making. They observed, calculated, and acted in ways no one had anticipated. The final solution was elegant in its simplicity, solving the problem efficiently while avoiding harm and building cooperation. When the results were announced, humans had achieved the highest score, completing every stage with precision and integrity. The field fell silent. Champions who had ruled for centuries were humbled. Alien spectators, once confident in their supremacy, stared in disbelief. A Thrin ambassador finally spoke, voice heavy with respect. This is remarkable. They have not only succeeded, but have done so in a way that honors the principles of the field itself." Elias Marlowe stepped forward, addressing the council and the gathered audience. "We did not come here to dominate or intimidate. We came to show that intelligence, courage, and cooperation can achieve what no force alone can. We are humans, and our way is to think, to learn, to work together, and to act with integrity. That is our strength." The council and the spectators were silent for a moment. Then, slowly, murmurs of approval began. Some species cheered, some bowed in respect, and some simply stared, unable to process the unexpected reality. Humanity's triumph was not merely about winning the challenge. It was about showing a new way to approach problems, a new model for interaction in the field, and a demonstration that even a young species could rise through ingenuity, courage, and ethical action. In the weeks after the challenge, humans continued to explore, learn, and help others in the field. They repaired failing systems, offered assistance to struggling fleets, and shared knowledge generously. Other species began to see that humanity's rise did not threaten only them, it inspired them. Even the most proud and powerful civilizations began to rethink their assumptions. Long-held beliefs about intelligence, strength, and strategy were challenged. The field, once predictable, was now alive with possibility. One evening, as the horizon drifted through a nebula filled with violet gases, Elias spoke to his crew. "We have achieved much, but our journey is only beginning. The galaxy will watch us, test us, and try to understand us. But as long as we remain true to who we are, we will continue to succeed." Sarah added, "And in doing so, we will show that humans do not need to destroy or dominate to make an impact. We can rise through thought, courage, and unity. That is the true meaning of strength." The stars shimmered around them, distant suns lighting the path forward. The galactic field had been changed. Its champions had been humbled. Its spectators had learned a new lesson. Do not underestimate humanity. The galaxy's cheers for old champions had faded. A new respect had emerged. Humanity had entered the field not as conquerors, but as innovators, thinkers, and unifiers. Their presence would echo across star systems for generations, inspiring others to approach challenges not only with skill, but with creativity, courage, and collaboration. For the first time in centuries, the galactic field had a force that no one could predict. A force that relied not only on power, but on thought, ethics, and human spirit. And humanity's journey was only beginning. The galaxy had underestimated them. That had been its greatest mistake.